Hi. No coffee this morning. So this time, instead of helping you out and talking to you about things that may be good for you, I'm using this as a moment to catch you up, because you've been here, well, even if you just got here, all of my videos are there for everyone to see from the very beginning of my channel, when nobody knew who I was. I had a couple of hundred subs to the channel, maybe, and a couple of years ago. And you've been part of seeing those changes. So over at the website now, amanitadreamer.net, as you watch the videos, it's hard to know now at what point in time they were, but it was when I didn't have a camera, didn't have good lighting. Everything was less. And now I have a lot of all those things. There's been this progression, but I've always wondered, when I see people that have really big channels that seem to really have their shit together, or people that seem to not be struggling financially, they have a lot at their disposal, or they have employees or something. Like, there was a time before they had all that, and no one talks about how they got there and what that was like, moving through that process. And I haven't made any videos of any substance now for over 2 weeks. And I'm beginning to think, like, when am I going to be able to make these videos that I want to make? So I wanted to sort of do a lot of things at once, because it is all sort of lumped together. And that is that, what do you do when your dreams come true? How do people actually get from here to here? What if what you manifest just keeps coming and progressing? What if you learn how to manifest? What if you work it right? What if you do the things correctly, and you get your insides correct, and then you do the entheogens, and you get to a place where you know how to manifest and use the law of attraction, and then it actually works? And what is that process like? Because you don't see people showing you that. What I see with the law of attraction people is people that already made their money some other way, and then they're preaching this to you, but they're actually making their money in, I don't know. Or they had already had it before all the new age stuff. Or they don't have that much, and they're giving really bad advice. And you've been here with me from the beginning, so I wanted to bring you along, but also tell you, in my opinion, this, from my side of things, this is how it looks and this is how it works. And then also, in explaining that to you, tell you that it's also just as difficult to get what you ask for. And it's a good problem, finally, to have. But also, if you don't manage it very well, you'll lose it. And it's why a lot of people, I think, don't keep attracting the things they want or manifesting goodness, because there's a level where it's okay, but if you keep doing it, there's a level where it gets not so okay, because it brings in a lot of bad with the good, and it gets hard to handle, and the energy coming in gets hard to handle. I just wanted to fill you in with where I am and bring you along, because I feared if I didn't, you would see this jump and it would look like I sold out or suddenly became some other person, and it didn't make sense to you how that happened. And it makes a lot of sense to me, and I wonder sometimes if I'm going to lose it all, because I don't know if I'm handling it right or handling it very well. So about a month ago, a lot of things happened all at once. I was on Mushroom Hour podcast. Someone from Discover Magazine had called like a month before that or 2 months before that and just asked me a couple of questions. The whole Zoom call was like 5 minutes. I didn't think anything of it. I figured whatever the article was about, which they didn't tell me, they would just mention me like near the end in one sentence or something. And I had been working with the San Francisco Psychedelic Society, and we had been talking about doing this couple of workshops with them or whatever. As it turned out, everything happened all at once. So on a Friday, I woke up and my life had exploded because the Discover magazine article had posted, and turns out like 3/4 of it was about me, and it started right at the very beginning. And then the Welcome to Mushroom Hour podcast, all at the same time. And it was not just the influx of just people, comments, messages, all that, but my store opened that day and it was wiped out inside of 2 hours, and all of my regular people were writing going, what the fuck? So I had to get some help and give people other things to do so I could start making items quickly. Luckily, I had a backlog of stuff to make things with. I just didn't have them packaged. So I had people putting labels on things and printing stuff out for me, listing things for me. And I luckily could just call on a couple of friends. And I managed to get the store restocked, and it sold out again in about 6 hours. And so we just kept working through the weekend. That was good, because that money that I made in those 4 days, I was definitely going to need. I thought this would peak and die off. What I didn't expect were all the corporations that were going to start reaching out to me. And it turns out a lot of corporations are out there wanting to get in this space. And as you may expect, most of them are up to no good, don't understand how it works. And one of the things I had to learn early on is, you know how you're learning to set boundaries and take care of yourself, self-love and self-care, but then also knowing when to say when and draw the line with other people. And you may care about someone and you may overextend yourself and say, well, only for right now because they just really need help. Or someone new that you've just met that you really hope that this interaction works, so you'll give more than you're used to giving just to see where it goes. Whatever you do in your real life, the same thing is true with businesses and corporations. You're still dealing with a human, with a person. So that's okay if you're having to do that one time, maybe in a week or in a month. But when you have to make those decisions, 4 or 5 a day, 6 a day, 8 a day, 10 a day, that becomes the job. And I quickly, as soon as I got everyone's orders packaged up and mailed, I immediately started attacking those emails with the businesses and the corporations. And I did not have a website ready for that. So I sort of had to put them all on hold and get AmanitaDreamer.com put together. I'd already owned the name, I just needed to get it put together. And I had intended for that to be sort of the business side of what I'm doing in the distant future. For when I would do certifications or classes or as a consult, you know what I mean? I just thought in the future. So I quickly had to do that. Thank goodness I learned how to build this on Wix with my .net website. I was able to put it together in a day. And I'm so glad. And with the help of my patrons, we actually discussed this on that Saturday. I'm so glad I had the Zoom with them. We get into some great conversations and some really, really cool people. And they had a lot of good advice. Here's what you need to price at. Here's how you need to price. Here's the layers that you need to, here's what you need to have on the website. And if you need help, call me. Like, they were amazing. So it was sort of a group effort. And so then I could just answer the emails pretty quickly and just tell everyone, go to AmanitaDreamer.com. And luckily that helped weed a lot of people out. But very quickly, a lot of corporations said, yes, we want to hire you as a consult. When can we Zoom with you? And then that started. And then the pushiness. Some people were very respectful. And how much are you an hour? How do I learn how to hire you? Other people were like, I need to meet with you now. They just assumed I didn't have anything to do or anything on my plate, and I would just call them up or something. I need to meet right now. When can you meet? I have a bunch of questions I need to ask you. And then I would send them the website. They would write back, Well, I just need to know for myself, not necessarily for the company. I just want to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm thinking about using Amanita, and I just want your opinion on this and this and this. Basically saying, I don't want to pay you. I just want you to stop everything that you're doing for me. And I, at first, would answer and say, this is how much I charge an hour. I'd be happy to. I don't have anything left this week. How is, and give them another date. And I wouldn't hear back. Or they would say, that's fine, but then keep pestering me. I had individuals reach out that were not from corporations, but they were trying to get into the Amanita space as their own personal work at home, make it by hand, make items and get them listed. And that's cool. I wanted to help those people actually a whole lot more, but I unfortunately just didn't have time really. And I just had to send them to my videos. I had people then come back and be like, what is wrong with you? Why won't you help me? I'm just trying to do this. You just won't answer me because you don't want any competition. In addition to people wanting me to use their services, asking me to give them money, and they would help me with XYZ, whatever, plan a business, help with marketing, all that, which I just deleted. It's been intense, and I learned pretty quickly how burned out I can get doing that. It's an incredible amount of energy. And the anxiety started. I have to maintain that. I had to take a lot of naps. I had to take a lot of breaks. I had to do a lot of breathing. I had to do a lot of walking away. At the same time, this was starting. Had I known that was going to start, I wouldn't have started this. But what happened is I very quickly had an influx of cash. So that's good. This I had been saving up for 4 years. But between when I got the estimates on how much this would cost and when I actually started doing it, the global thing happened, the prices of everything went way up, but also sourcing materials became a problem. And so now I'm 2 months doing this, and this has become a full-time job. Every single day, there's a new problem of a new item I can't get. I put in a new window. It took weeks. It's a standard window. It took weeks just to get a window. I'm 6 weeks into trying to find cabinets. Most cabinets are 2 months backordered. So living without a way to eat and take care of my physical gut health has been an issue, and it's a battle I'm losing. I can't stress to you enough how easy it is to lose your mental health when the good happens also. If it's really good and you're good at it and the good happens rapidly, the amount of hate, the amount of shift, and the amount of changes in your friends, in the people who expect things of you, the people who you learn were your friends and the ones that you weren't, the amount of friends you lose pretty rapidly, the amount of patrons I gained, the workshop and all the beautiful people that I met there. And then that turned into another, the microdosing workshop, which has now turned into a book that I'm writing. There's another book that I'm having to put on hold because I just don't have enough time to write it, but it's being asked. There's a certification program I want to make that's being requested by people. I just can't get it written because I'm writing the other book. It's all very good. I need a lot of help. I can't find help. I'm trying to hire help, but the people that I hire, they like it, they want to do it, and then within 2 or 3 weeks of training, they can't because they got to go get a different job or their mental health isn't there. I pay whatever they ask, whatever's fair. I mean, a minimum of $20 an hour, or they bid the whole job, or they want to be paid monthly or something. And it's not that, it's not them, it's just the difficulties of life in 2021. So I'm not complaining at all. I just wanted to share with you that I'm sorry I've been gone. But none of these are the reason why I haven't made videos. 3/4 of the reason is this. The bulk of the videos I need to make at this point, I need a kitchen to do it. the rest of the reasons for the other videos is usually this time of year I am doing foraging videos and out there because mushrooms are coming up. And I couldn't because of what happened 2 weeks ago. And it brings up a video that I'm going to make that I'll end this one and start that one, and I'll just upload them together. So I've been handling this as best that I can. I've been sort of just downshifting and saying, well, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's going to happen in my time frame, not anybody else's. And if I lose opportunities, then I do, and they'll come back or they won't. I'm going to pace myself and do the best I can. I have more money now, and the second time I opened my store, it sold out in about 10 hours. And luckily I made a lot more, and I was able to keep the store open for 24 hours before I just didn't have anything else. My store opens again this Friday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. It's been a month. However, in October, I'm going to Canada. So my store won't be opening. After this Friday, it won't be opening for another 7 weeks. So if there's anything you want, please get it this Friday. My apologies, but I won't be in the country. There's more opportunities that have opened up. Enough in that area that it's worth the trip. And some good video that I'm going to get for you. I'm going to forage some Amanita up there in Vancouver area, Calgary area. If anyone wants to meet up, let me know. I got a couple of people I'm already meeting up with. So what happened then 2 weeks ago is I woke up one morning and I had a tooth hurting, and it was one that I had had a root canal on back in college years ago. It's lasted a really long time. I have done a lot of research on some natural dental health stuff you can do just to maintain the dentin on your teeth. And I've been pretty good about it. So it was kind of surprising to actually have a tooth issue, but I guess it was time for it to fail. The technology wasn't as great back then, and it had already had a root canal in it, and it had already had a crown on it. So it was failing, and it failed in a really big way. Usually if I have any issues with any kind of an infection starting, reishi takes care of it. So I started loading up on the reishi, and that didn't work. And within, I don't know, 24 hours, I was in so much pain and it was so swollen. Anyway, I had to get to the dentist in an emergency fashion. Get on antibiotics. The first time in a decade I've had to take antibiotics. I'm glad it happened. I've learned a lot. But after 5 days of being on them, it was time to actually get the work done, but it was all still very swollen and inflamed. That was extremely painful. The injections to numb it were horrible. I'm not a sissy by any means. Like, I can take a lot of pain, and they were having to help me not scream. They had to close the door. It was so bad that even with the numbing, before he was even finished, the pain up in here was awful, all the way up in here. Before I got home, I was crying, just trying to get home. I took kratom, which normally helps with the pain, wouldn't even touch the pain. I had to fill the prescription for the opioid painkiller. I had to take both. And even then it would knock the pain down to just a 6, just something tolerable. I was taking the antibiotic, and then I started taking Amanita. That was sort of the difference that got it down to a 3. And I'm going to talk about that and Amanita and why it worked and what's going on, and gut health and Amanita in the next video. I am just now at a point where I could talk to you and that I'm not swollen anymore. It's been 2 weeks, and I got to go back here in another week to get the permanent crown put on it. Anyway, that's why I've been MIA. So I'm trying to grow and adapt. It's been a beautiful experience. I am loving all the amazing people I have met. The new opportunities that are here are beautiful and fantastic. I need help. I'm trying to find the help that I need. I've got one person assisting me now with some social media posts and just doing sort of the background work that nobody sees and that won't matter, but that keep me too busy to handle dealing with the things I want to deal with, like actual conversations with you, people, communications, answering questions, that kind of thing, being involved with people. I think the industry calls it front facing or whatever. And then I'm getting help locally with labeling on my bottles and stuff like that, trying to get some permanent help in that direction. I'm making enough money now, if my store keeps doing what it is, that I'll be able to actually start paying someone to help me around the house with things that I could do more with my channel if I'm not having to keep the house clean. That seems like one thing I can do. But right now I can't do that because my whole house, my whole kitchen is in my den, and things that I used in my den are in bedrooms, and where I'm making all of this stuff is sort of scattered around the house. So as soon as I can get the kitchen finished, get my house in order, I can pay someone to come every other week and clean my house. I could probably use some help maybe with the book once I get it ready to go to print, that I'll need help with that. My merch guy made me labels for the smoke blends. They are unbelievably, fantastically beautiful. So you'll see that when the store opens. That was an amazing gift. I'm trying to get more vendors on the website. So if any of you know anyone that owns a business, once you get on my website though, things get crazy. My vendors tell me what happens once they get on my website. They can't keep up with orders. Anyway, it's $150 a month to be a vendor, but I have to vet you. So just tell them to send me an email or whatever, or to contact me through the .com website. That's for business. But I wanted to tell you, this is what it's like moving up to the next level. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing my best to figure it out. I need the kind of help I can't afford yet, like a publicist, the person to get me on more things, a person to help deal with lighting and videoing and editing. Like editing would be great. There's bigger things that I need to pay for that I'm not even at that level yet. I can't afford that yet. And then there's just managing the money. Right now it's just sitting in a bank account, so it's not actually being put to good use. I don't know about that, like right now in this environment, how to even invest that money right now, or the best place to put it. And then there's my mental health, which is finally starting to turn around, but it went downhill really fast once the tooth thing happened and the antibiotic thing happened. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I'll just keep you posted. I hope to get out there and start foraging soon. Now that the weather has cleared up, now that my tooth pain has cleared up, now that I'm finally getting some videos put out for you, I have to get my mental health where it belongs. I get out there and I start having panic attacks, and that's not conducive to videos. And we haven't had a very good fruiting season. Amanita jacksonii are my favorite ones to eat, and they didn't even fruit this year. The season has come and gone and they didn't fruit. All the other videos that I usually make this time of year, or at least through the end of the summer, none of that stuff has fruited, and I'm getting worried. I have 4 very large sites for Amanita persinas out here. 3 of them have been clear cut in the last year. I've made videos about that. I've posted some of that on Instagram or short videos here on YouTube. So I'm afraid of this fruiting season, honestly. I only have one site left, so I'm going to be starting all over. If this whole year has been an indication, I'm very concerned about the fruiting here this year. I'm feeling very grateful that I'll be going to Canada for the fruiting, but then there's the question of the border. My flights have already been canceled and rebooked on other flights 6 times now, because they're having labor issues. So that whole thing, getting my flights coordinated and actually getting in the country, that will be interesting. And my mental health needs to be really good and clean by then. So I've got about a month to get my shit together. If you want to be kept up on what else happening, like where I'm teaching classes, or like what dates things are being released, or when the store opens, or whatever, on my website, amanitadreamer.net, at the very top, there's a place for you to put your email. I send 2 emails out a month. And I usually try to put something free in it. Like I'm doing really cool Halloween coloring pages, adult coloring pages, weird ones for October. September was candle wraps. You know, if you have a jar candle, it's these really cool fall wraps that you can print out and put around your candle. I like making stuff for y'all. It sort of keeps me grounded and keeps me feeling like I'm still communicating with you and in touch with you. I really miss that part about YouTube. When this channel was really hopping and all the Muscaria content was here and there were hundreds of comments on videos and it was such a hopping community. Because over on the website now there's no comments. So the way that most people are interacting now is over on Instagram or the Facebook page. Here, I'm still posting videos. They're just either on the community tab, you know, or they're just shorts. And I don't know if I'm even being pushed on YouTube for you to even know that I'm uploading anything. You can always comment on those videos about anything you want anywhere else, like something that I've uploaded on the website. I'm still uploading good video over there, just not able to do it over here as much because of what's been happening. But there's some really good fungal content over there that my channel is based on, over at amanitadreamer.net. And I would like to tell you some of the ones I've got coming up as soon as I get this back, are things like being able to make powdered soma, experimenting with with vegan versions of full decarb. There's using videos that I'm going to be doing. I just can't currently in my physical state till I get my gut health back where it belongs. I can't do too much entheogen use until I do that. So let's talk about, Amanita, gut health, panic and anxiety, inflammation, teeth, antibiotics. It's all very interesting what I think I might be working out about that. I love you, beautiful people. Moving right along.